ain't your moment, boo. Like, you know, this ain't for you.
Get your money, sis, fuck a hater. Get your money, sis, get your weight up. Make your money move, I ain't mad at you. Yeah, it's all about the cream and getting money, sis. Get your money, sis, fuck a hater.
What's good, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's just me, Jenny, where it is what it is and you get what you get. And I'm back with another video. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you are notified every single time that I post a new video. And you might as well go ahead and give this video a big old thumbs up. And without further ado, let's get right into today's topic. Recently, Megan James' podcast, the Hollywood Group Chat podcast, guest starred rapper Monaleo, who is also a huge advocate for mental health. The topic of colorism came up. Now, Monaleo is obviously a beautiful, dark-skinned black woman who is in the rap game. And it's no surprise that it's not always easy, and has been voiced by several other dark-skinned artists that it's not easy when you have to deal with colorism in the industry and in life in general. So Megan James asked Monaleo about this topic and does she believe it exists in the industry? This is what she had to say.
Do you believe in colorism, and do you feel like it's easier as a female rapper to like make it big when you're like of a lighter complexion?
Believe in colorism. Colorism is very real. It's a very real thing, for sure. And it definitely is easier for, not to take away from anybody who is a light-skinned rapper, but it's definitely easier for a woman with a lighter complexion to blow up quicker than a dark-skinned woman, for sure.
But like, why do you feel like that? Because like, I be getting into it with people, right? I used to get made fun of at school because I wasn't black enough to try to cut my hair. Like, people be thinking that like light-skinned girls don't go through colorism. We go through colorism just, I don't know if it's like as bad as like brown-skinned girls.
It's not colorism. It's not colorism. If you're light-skinned, it's not colorism.
So what is it?
Ooh, cringe. Very cringe. So Megan's response was, instead of validating what Monaleo said, she kind of reversed it and decided to speak on the fact that she had to deal with colorism growing up, where girls would try to cut her hair or pick on her because she was light-skinned, and she felt like reverse colorism is a thing. Now, after the interview, Monaleo tweeted, "I've gotten some nasty ass messages since that interview dropped, and all I did was point out what I thought was obvious, and there is no such thing as reverse colorism." Now, fellow reality star Masika Kalisha responded to this tweet. "Reverse colorism 100% exists. Saying that it doesn't exist is actual proof that it does."
The fuck are you talking about?
Okay. Social media influencer India Royal also responded in a tweet stating, "Colorism versus bullying. Once you educate yourself, you understand that as a light-skinned little girl, you were bullied. Being light-skinned didn't actually affect your life, your job, etc." Now, honestly, this was the first time I've actually heard of reverse colorism. I have done several videos on the topic of colorism. So this was the first time I've actually heard reverse colorism. And I'm just curious to what you all think. Do you believe that reverse colorism is a thing? And I'm going to go ahead and drop my 2 cents in on the situation. The reason I said I never heard of it, because I remember doing a video talking about colorism and stating that, you know, although I acknowledge that it is absolutely an issue in the Black community as well as other communities of color, I do notice, just based on personal experience, people throwing jabs about me being of a lighter complexion, because I don't even really consider myself to be light skinned. I am of a lighter complexion, but I've had people throw jabs because of it. And it's like, well, what do you call that when that happens? And I've asked that question before. I've never thought of reverse colorism. And, like India said, when you educate yourself on what colorism actually is, you realize that reverse colorism can't be a thing. So, what is colorism, boys and girls? Once again, colorism is a prejudice or discrimination against individual with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. So for that definition alone, it really doesn't apply to anyone that is of the lighter skin tone, because it is a prejudice against darker people. So, like I said, this topic is always so difficult for me to talk about on this platform, because it's a very sensitive topic and you don't want to say the wrong things to offend anyone. And although I can appreciate Megan's story, because I've heard other women, I've heard several other people talk about, growing up, how they were picked on and, bullied and slapped to see how red they would turn, and, trying to cut their hair in because they were light skinned. And like India said, you would classify that as bullying. It's almost like hurt people type thing. When you are discriminated against, and I'm not saying everybody, but some people who are discriminated against or were discriminated against because of their skin tone, sometimes they will, deflect that hurt onto someone else, because it's like, I want you to know what I feel like. And does it make it right? No. But again, it's more of a bullying thing, and I want to hurt you because I'm hurting, or because I have to go through this and you don't know what it's like. However, being light-skinned has never really prevented you from something, such as getting a job, such as dating someone. No one ever said, I don't want to date you because you're light-skinned. It's very rare. Some people do, but, you don't go through life hearing those things. So, to touch on the actual interview, I thought that, it was just in really poor taste the way Megan responded to her, to what she said about her experience and dealing with colorism as a rapper in the industry. To immediately say, well, why do you feel that way? Because growing up, I didn't, that was in really poor taste, and, trying to victimize yourself. This ain't your moment, boo. This ain't for you. And like I said, it doesn't feel good to, have someone say, you this, that, and the third because you light skinned. No. But I can acknowledge that those few jabs that are thrown my way does not compare to what someone of a darker complexion has to go through on a day-to-day basis. So it's yes, I acknowledge colorism is a thing. Pretty privilege is a thing. Light skin privilege is a thing. I don't know how many times we have to keep saying it, but it's all we can do is support our brothers and sisters who have to deal with this on a regular basis. Not use this moment to say, well, I go through this and I go through that. It's not the same. It's not the same. Validate people's feelings. Don't try to victimize yourself, because then you start to look like a Karen. Okay? But with that being said, I thank you all for watching, of course. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, because I know this is one of those topics that's very sensitive. But I would love to hear from you all. Make sure y'all follow me on all of my social medias. Everything will be in the descriptions down below. And Jenny is